All right, here are your notes, Unit 6, Section 6.2a and 6.3a. And the word of the day, proportion. What is a proportion, you ask? It's something very simple. A proportion is just two fractions that are equal. Two fractions that are equal. So that's a main thing for the day. You need to know what a proportion is. What's a proportion? Say it. Two fractions that are equal. Okay, so it's really simple. For example, you might have 1/2 and it equals, let's see, what does 1/2 equal? Does it equal 5/10? Sure. 5/10 is the same thing as 1/2. That is called a proportion. How do I know it's a proportion? I have one fraction, two fractions, and they're equal. That's it. Now, you could have two fractions that are not equal, like 1/2, and it does not equal 5/8. This, since they are not equal, is not a proportion. Now, in a proportion, this one is a proportion because they are equal. There's a magical little thing that happens. So watch. You can cross multiply. Cross multiply. I'm not cross canceling. Cross multiplying. So 2 times 5. And then I cross the other way. Cross multiply the other way. 1 times 10. 1 times 10. And watch. 2 times 5. 2 times 5 is 10. 1 times 10. 1 times 10 is also 10. You will get the same answer. That's the magic. In a proportion, when you cross multiply, you will get the same answer. Now over on the other side, it doesn't work. Watch. Cross multiply 2 times 5. And then cross multiply the other way. 1 times 8. 1 times 8. 2 times 5 is 10. 1 times 8 is 8. Those are not equal. So this one is not a proportion. They're not equal. Not a proportion. This one is a proportion on this side. This is a proportion. So here is an example of a proportion. Two fractions that are equal. And the magic is you can cross multiply and you'll get the same answer. All right, so let's write that down. In a proportion, you can cross multiply and you will get the same answer. You will get the same answers, no matter which way you go. You can cross multiply and you will get the same answer both ways. All right, that's very important, and we're going to use that little trick for much of our homework. Okay? All right, let me show you how it works with algebra. Here's an algebra example. 81 over 63 equals x over 14. Okay, this is a proportion. How do I know it's a proportion? Well, I have one fraction, two fractions, and they're equal. So I know it's a proportion. I know it is. So since I know it's a proportion, I can use the little trick. I can cross multiply this way, 63 times x, and I can cross multiply the other way, 81 times 14, and I know that these two answers are going to be equal. How do I know? I just said it earlier. In a proportion, two fractions that are equal, you can cross multiply and you're going to get the same answer. They're going to be equal. All right, let's figure this out. So 63 times x is just 63x. 81 times 14, 81 times 14 is 1,134, and I know that these two have to be equal. So how do I get x? Well, I just solve. I solve this equation. We've been solving for about 2 months. The opposite of multiply is divide. So I'll divide by 63 on both sides. Since it's an equation, it has an equal sign. And I'll get x is 18. How do I know it's right? Just take the 18, put it back in here. Since 81 times 14 equals 1,134, then 63 times 18 should equal the same thing. And so you can test it. Okay, so when you see that it's a proportion, when you know they're equal, first thing you're going to do is cross multiply. You're going to cross multiply, then you're going to take those two answers and set them equal. Set your answers equal after you cross multiply. Set your answers equal to each other. And then solve it like we've been doing for about 2 months. Alright, let's try another one. I think we can fit the other one right here. Let's go with 24 over 3x plus 7 equals 42/11. Okay, is this a proportion? Is this a proportion? Is it a proportion? Yes, it is. How do I know? There's a fraction and another fraction, and they're equal. So I know it's a proportion. So the first thing I'm going to do is cross multiply. All right, so I'm going to crisscross multiply. So here we go. We're going to take 42, and we're going to multiply it by 3x plus 7. Now I'm going to cross the other way, cross multiply the other way. 24 times 11. Okay, I notice it's a proportion, two fractions that are equal. I cross multiplied. Now I'm going to set my answers equal to each other. So I'm going to put an equal sign right in between. Now I just solve. Okay, I think I'm going to have to distribute. So I'm going to take 42 times 3x. I don't have a lot of room, so I'm going to go over here now. You might have room on your paper. 42 times 3x. 42 times 3x, I believe that's 126x. Plus 42 times 7. 42 times 7 is 294. And that equals, on the other side, I have 24 times 11. And 24 times 11 is 264. All right, just to review, I noticed it was a proportion. I have two fractions that are equal. I cross multiplied. I crisscrossed this way and that way. I made my two answers equal to each other. I set the answers equal to each other. And now I'm just going through the solving steps. I'm distributing. I multiplied. Now I need to get x alone. So I'll subtract 294 from both sides. Subtract 294 from both sides, the equal sign. Bring down the 126x. The 294, take away 294 is gone. 264, take away 294, negative 30. Almost done. I need to get rid of this 126 multiplied by the x. So I'll divide by 126 on both sides of the equal sign. And my answer for x, my solution, Negative 30 divided by 126 is negative 0.24. How can I test this? I take that answer, I put it right here for x. I go 3 times that answer, that solution, plus 7. I multiply it by 42, and I better get the same answer as when I do 24 times 11. Alright, I hope this is helpful. If I went too fast, please feel free to slow it down when you re-watch it. Alright, good luck.